I have a theory. Have you ever had to go up and sing karaoke or do a trick on a skateboard in public right after somebody else who's 1,000 times better than you? You're instantly compared to the last guy, and even if you're pretty good, no matter what, you'll always end up looking kinda meh. See, Survival Instinct came out shortly after Telltale's The Walking Dead. For those who don't know, Telltale's game launched to critical acclaim, selling a whopping 8.5 million units and receiving over 80 Game of the Year awards. Not something you want to be compared to, but see, it was released in April of 2012, and Survival Instinct was announced just 3 months later. With huge anticipation and hype generated from the previous game, Survival Instinct had a tough battle ahead of it, and sure enough, on release in March of 2013, it received abysmal reviews from critics and the general public alike. So was The Walking Dead Survival Instinct unfairly compared to its award-winning counterpart, resulting in lower review scores, or is it truly a bad game? Let's find out. Survival Instinct was developed by Terminal Reality, who had previously worked on the fantastic Ghostbusters, the video game. Unlike Telltale's game, this one is based off the TV series, not the comics, and it stars characters from the show and is canon to the series' plot. The game is a first-person shooter with stealth and melee combat. You begin each mission by choosing a path. You can take the highways, giving you a high chance to break down and a low chance of finding fuel but saving precious gas, or you could take the streets, giving you a medium chance to break down and a medium chance to find supplies but using more fuel, or you could take the back roads with a low chance of breakdown and a high chance of supplies but eating up almost all of your fuel. Once you've picked a mission, you have a meeting with your party, and you have to assign a task to them, like go get more ammo or go get more gas. Here, there's a risk meter to be aware of, but there's no emotional connection to any of these side characters whatsoever. Most are just people who gave you fetch quests earlier in the game. Since there's no reason to care if they live or die, other than not getting the supplies that you requested, it's easy to just give them your worst weapons to clean up your inventory and hope for the best. On your way to missions, your car battery will die, you'll run out of gas, and you'll need to stop for supplies. These missions take place in a couple different environments that are much smaller than the main worlds, typically just one property. You might be looking for gas in a train yard, a new battery in a junkyard, or supplies at a campsite. Some of these are brand new levels, but most are just small blocked off sections of the larger maps. Once you do get to a chapter, each mission plays like its own little mini generic open world zombie game. It's a series of fetch quests that you'll need to do in order to get to an end goal. Let's go find a car. So you talk to an officer who wants batteries and will give us a car, but first we need to find his friends. Then we get a car and it needs gas, so you go to a gas station and they've got gas, but first you have to get the generator running. But you'll need a key for that since it's locked behind a fence. And the key is located in this kid's dad's pocket, who's on the other side of the level. The maps that you explore appear to be really big in the start, but in reality are quite small, filled with 2 or 3 points of interest and the rest being hallways and corridors. This is a good thing, as you're going to need to at least somewhat familiarize yourself with each environment. The reason why you'll have to do this is quite simple. See, the map design is unbelievably atrocious, with long alleyways that lead to dead ends, and then the waypoint, well, it's erratic and often entirely unhelpful. The end of most missions requires you to backtrack to your vehicle where you started the mission, and causes a ton of zombies to spawn, so you'll either have to kill them all or run past them all and hope for the best. Whether you're running or killing, there is nothing more annoying than the waypoint taking you to the end of an alleyway, blocked in, while the zombies pour in through the entrance. Well, there's one thing more annoying, but we'll get to it. Another reason to explore the environment is simple: collectibles and items. The game hides gas canisters around the environment, and you're going to want to collect as many of those as you can in order to help you out when it comes to picking your next mission, as it ties in directly with how far your vehicle can drive before you're forced to do another mini scavenging mission. There are useless collectibles hidden around the level for completionists as well, and you'll also find non-weapon related items littered throughout the stages that are mostly beneficial to your health and stealth. You'll find energy drinks and food that you can use to heal, and bottles that you can throw to distract enemies and cause them to walk towards the noise. That helps for sneaking around, but other than sneaking around, the best way to help prevent death is to fight back with the game's weapons. Weapons will be found throughout the game and are stored as an inventory item. You've got a healthy mix of firearms to choose from, including a sniper rifle, a shotgun, pistols, and a bow and arrow. On top of that, you've got a trusty knife and various melee weapons that can be picked up throughout the gameplay. Melee combat is, well, you have combos you can do with your melee weapons. You can push R2, 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 R2 for a 4-hit combo that kills any zombie. If you got 2 zombies on you, you can attack one with an R2, R2, R2 combo, and then hit the other one with R2, and then finish off the first one with one final blow with the push of the R2 button, leaving you with just that one last zombie to R2. Other melee items simply buff the damage done. A hammer, a pipe, a baseball bat, they might do more damage, but it'll take up the same amount of space in the inventory as a healing item or an actual gun. There's something kind of fun about chopping a head off in one swift slice with the fire axe though. If an enemy grabs you, you'll have to complete a QuickTime event where you fight to center the analog stick and push R2 to stab their head. If you get surrounded by more than 2 enemies, melee won't do you any good because of these grabs. What will happen is an endless loop of QuickTime events. And here it is, guys. This is the single most boring, awful, and obnoxious thing in any video game I've ever played. And it happens constantly. Little tiny flex here, but see, I've got the Platinum Trophy in Barbie Sisters Puppy Rescue on the PS3, which took me over 30 hours. And I would honestly rather do that again than play through this again, simply because of these awful moments. If you die, the checkpoint system is decent and only sets you back a couple minutes. But sometimes, it's enough to make you slam the controller down and quit the game. When that happens, checkpoints aren't saved, just the mission that you're on. This can set you back a good 30 minutes, erasing all of your items and collectibles you picked up while exploring in the process. It's not fun replaying these missions, especially when death can be unpreventable at times. If you play for 30 minutes and get endlessly grab looped by enemies, respawn, and have it happen again and again and again, it takes everything in your power to not quit playing this game, but the knowledge that stopping will make you have to redo the entire first half of the mission is enough to make you force yourself to get through it. This feels like the world's worst chore and can set you into a trance where your brain shuts down and you become depressed at what you're doing with your free time. Yet you have to just keep coming back to get grapple looped. Alright, let's stop thinking about that for a bit. Guns. Guns are hidden throughout the levels, and you'll get a different arsenal in a different order, depending on which routes that you pick on the map screen before the mission. You'll eventually come across all of the guns at some point though. The guns, they feel okay. The revolver will shoot through multiple enemies in one shot, which is extremely useful. The shotgun is beyond terrible, with no spread at all. It may as well be a pistol, honestly. The pistol, it's good simply due to its ammo capacity. But then the bow and arrow, which you receive quite late in the game, switches things up enough to be a breath of fresh air when you do get it. With this, you can fire an arrow to kill silently from a distance, and then retrieve the arrow from the body when you're able to. Which is great, because ammo is extremely scarce throughout the game. No matter how many times you stop for supplies, knife your way through the optional supply missions, and exclusively aim for headshots in the main missions, you will still run out of ammo, extremely quickly. When this happens, you're left with melee combat, and that's what most of this game really is. You'll walk around, stealth kill a zombie, stealth kill another one, melee one 4 times, stealth kill another one, get surrounded by 15 zombies, resulting in an endless QuickTime event lockup, and once they're all dead, you'll stealth kill the next. Thankfully, the enemy AI is quite realistic for zombies, in the sense that they're remarkably unintelligent. The enemies will walk into walls constantly, fail to notice you when you're directly in front of them, get stun locked when you knife them, and forget about you when you walk away. But hey, this is a Walking Dead game. You would think the story would be the one silver lining to all of this, but unfortunately that's not really true. See, it starts with Daryl's father getting bit by the infected, leaving Daryl and his half-uncle Jess to escape to Calvert Ridge. There, Daryl does a bunch of fetch quests until they get a car and fuel and head to Pemberton, where Daryl will do a bunch of fetch quests and Jess gets bit. Then Daryl heads to Fontana to look for Merle. He finds Merle. Then they go get Daryl's crossrow back from a gang that stole it from Merle. Then they hear about an evacuation checkpoint at a stadium, so they head there to escape in a helicopter. Which, the stadium is overrun by walkers that Daryl fights. Then all of a sudden Merle shows up, for some reason in a Humvee with a mounted .50 caliber machine gun on it, so they team up and kill a bunch of them and try to get on the helicopter, but Merle notices the pilot is bit and just rudely lets it fly away with passengers in it, but saves Daryl. What a douche. And then the game just ends. That's it. That's the whole game. Overall, like The Walking Dead, it feels like a small-scale asset flip game that was in development for less than a year and rushed out the door, when what it really needed was another 2 years in development. The buddy system feels unfinished, like there should be more to it beyond just sending your guys out for a supply run and hoping they come back. The map system feels unfinished, like it was designed to be an open world game and changed at the last minute. The melee combat feels unfinished with repeating animations and endless quicktime events. The environments feel unfinished with long corridors that lead to nothing, hard to see ladders, and random enemy spawnings throughout. The supply missions feel unfinished, with many environments just being directly copied from previous missions. And last but not least, the story feels unfinished, being a simple series of side quests to get from point A to point B, only to do it again and again and again. It's clunky, extremely boring, and an unfinished mess of a game that I honestly hated almost everything about. Beyond the last mission, which was actually kind of fun. Playing through this game inspired me to get out of the house multiple times just to avoid the nagging voice in my head telling me I need to finish it.
I can't take it. It's so awful. I have like a mission left to do and I can't.
If you like this video as much as I disliked making it, which I really doubt, hit the sub button. Hit it anyway. I usually review games that I really love, but I've always wanted to play this for some reason. If you want to play it for yourself, don't. Thanks for watching, guys. Anyway, love you. Peace.
Oh, come on.